Hey everyone, welcome back to Political X. For more knowledge and updates on UK, European and US politics, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, and the growth that's happened over the last few weeks has been phenomenal. I've almost reached a couple of landmark points within YouTube in terms of subscriber numbers, in terms of views and hours watched. So thank you to all of you who have supported me on this, and if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. So this is my part 2 video on Brexit regrets. So Brexiteers regretting that they voted to leave the EU, and I was quite surprised at the numbers out there that I found of people saying, I voted leave and now I totally regret that vote and wish I had voted remain. It was also interesting hearing the reasons for them voting in that way. And one of the things that seemed to really come across, especially in some of the more poorer areas that were voting to leave, was they were so poor and desperate that they didn't think it was the government's fault for the lack of investment or training opportunities that were taking place. They were looking at the foreigners that were coming in, and for them, they felt that those foreigners coming in were reducing their wages or stopping other people getting work. And what they didn't realise is that actually leaving the EU was going to cause them to lose out on a lot more money, jobs, investment. All of that was going to disappear as a result. And one of the clips is actually in Wales, where it shows that a German factory shut down, costing 500 jobs. It's mind-blowing. It was almost like trying to punch government in the head or in the nose to wake up to the realities of what was taking place in their situation. And it actually cost them more to do that. And it says quite a lot about the government, because frankly, a lot of these people clearly needed help and support and weren't getting it. And in fact, some of them even said that they were getting that support from the EU, and now that's cut off, and they're not going to get it from the government. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's just get straight into this and have a listen to a lot of these bregretters.
But what will other nations think if this great and sovereign nation cannot bring itself to accept we made a mistake ratifying this agreement?
I did vote to leave.
And why did you vote to leave?
It was finely balanced as far as I was concerned. I now regret it.
Why do you regret the decision?
Because I think it's a real mess, and I think we will be better off remaining in the European Union.
I voted to leave because I felt the campaign, the way they presented the Leave campaign was better from the vantage point of whereby presentation of the facts. But I think, having seen the fact that the arguments are better now that you guys are making, it's quite sad, and I kind of want them to remain. So that's kind of where I stand.
It's okay to change your mind. I mean, a lot of the Leave campaign at the time of the referendum, there was a lot of lies. There was a lot of disingenuous facts, and that's putting it,
Naturally, but the problem was I felt that I don't think Remain had a message that spoke to the rational concerns. It was like, it was economy first, but it's nothing like, well, how does that feed into NHS, how does that feed into all these other things? And I think that's what there you go.
Did you vote Remain?
I voted leave, but I have changed my mind because...
Right.
So did you just not know about those arguments beforehand?
I don't think I knew about them at all, to be honest with you, and I'm really sorry about that because I really regret the fact that I did vote leave.
I think it does have quite a bit to do with Brexit. I think Brexit is... I voted for Brexit. 5 minutes after I voted for it, I realised that I'd done a very silly thing. But I was upset that David Cameron got slapped around by the EU, and I voted for Brexit.
We would have been better to probably remain and not unleash these demons.
Do you mind me asking how you voted?
To get out. But I
Oh, to get out?
Yeah. But I don't know why, because nobody really explained it to me, so I done it stupidly.
So you now wish you could have a second vote?
To stay in, yeah.
To stay in?
Just maybe. I'm reaching the point of thinking that we should have a second referendum.
On what?
On EU membership.
The whole thing?
Yes, of course.
Thomas has always been against Brexit, but his partner Pavel did support it. He's now changed his mind.
So I've changed my mind myself after I've noticed what is happening after that Brexit situation.
Instinctively, I was Brexity. If there was another vote now, I'd probably vote I'd probably vote Remain.
I voted to leave because I believe the hype about all the money going to the NHS. I regret that very much because the more we found out, the more it's going to stop us having any money for the NHS because it'll go and pay for us to leave. And I think we will be a piddling little nation with no power whatsoever.
Prime Minister said after 4 years of negotiations, a no deal is now very, very likely. I mean, any regrets looking back and reflecting and knowing what you now know and seeing what we're seeing before us?
If I'm honest with you, I think knowing what we know and the impacts and the ramifications and the fact that we still don't know really what we've got, I probably would have voted differently,
I voted as a businessman, and I voted Brexit. You know, if I go back again now and it was me as a person, I would say no. I would say remain in Europe.
Well, look, a very narrow majority voted to leave, having been told that there was a huge bonus coming from savings on the European subscription for the health service, having been told that if we remained, 50 million Turks would find their way into this country. It was frankly, it was a deceit. And people, I think, have now woken up, and there is evidence, quite substantial evidence, that if there were to be another poll, then Remain would win.
Well, the freedom of movement in Europe, you know, for the proper European to be...
So you want to keep your own freedom of movement so that you can come back and forth between here and the UK?
Yes, I know it might be selfish, but I think on reflection now, we'd probably vote for, if we had a referendum, probably the other way now.
Vote to Remain now?
To Remain,
I think you might have shot yourself in the foot a little bit.
Might have done, yes. We very well have done.
If you'd like to help the channel, please feel free to join us on Patreon. You can also buy me a coffee if you enjoyed what you've listened to so far today. Or, of course, you can go on my Redbubble, with this week's theme being Tax the Rich.
It's a bit like a civil war, isn't it?
Without guns.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. I voted to come out, but I think I'd stay in there and let's, you know, for goodness sake, go back to the beginning again. I didn't think about, you know, these big companies pulling out.
No, I don't think anybody thought about that.
No.
And dear old what's his name and his vacuum cleaner.
Oh, Mr. Dyson going to Shanghai or somewhere.
Isn't it?
It's terrible.
It would be wonderful if we just dropped the whole thing and remained.
Well,
but I'm sure there will be riots and things.
And in 2016, I voted to leave the EU. I've changed my mind because it's clear to me that the UK has the best deal inside the European Union. I believe we need a people's vote now that we have a better idea of what Brexit might look like.
You get a feeling that people are thinking about it more now than they were before the referendum, is the truth. I don't think they realise the implications, and they've currently seen the mess that we're in at the moment, trying to deal with the negotiations and the withdrawal agreements, etc. And anecdotally, I think, yes, people are having second thoughts.
Now, Peter Oborne, the article that you have published today reads like a sort of a roadmap to a source of Damascus. Brexit has paralysed the system, it's turned Britain into a laughingstock, and it is certain to make us poorer and to lead to lower incomes and lost jobs. We Brexiteers would be wise to acknowledge all this. When did you discover this?
If you've followed events for the last few months, there's been some very grim moments for the Brexiteers. The wave of disinvestment, the city people being told to sign contracts which ensure their employers are happy to go and live in or work in Europe. You've got Honda in Swindon, the disinvestment in the northeast. Almost every day you've got another body blow which shows that the economic story told by the Brexiteers ahead of June 2016 was just false in the end. And
You're
I think
talking
we
about
now know
Brexiteers
that,
as if they're other people.
I know what I say. Us, I said, sorry,
right.
Us Brexiteers, but I wasn't one of the economists. And the economic model, which depended on the World Trade Organization, has collapsed for reasons it was hard to tell in 2016, namely the rise of protectionism in Trump's United States and Xi's China. Big protectionist blocs with very little room for manoeuvre for little countries like Britain.
We were reading and what we were being told that would be a case.
If you could go back to yourself in 2016 in June, when you're in that ballot box, you're about to vote leave, and say something to yourself.
If I could go back?
Yeah, if you could go back and say something to yourself then, what would you say?
Don't be a fool. Stay in Europe. Why would you want to leave?
To the electorate in June 2016, and that's for the people who did not vote. One of the things that the polls and academic research repeatedly found was that those who didn't vote in 2016 had become increasingly likely to take the view that perhaps the United Kingdom should not be leaving the European Union after all.
I do have a lump in my throat. I feel a bit sick because of my kids. They wanted to remain. Everyone I know practically.
Do you feel more individual today than you did yesterday? With that lump in your throat?
Yeah, no, because of the upset.
My name's Paul Tomlin. I'm from Stoke-on-Trent. I'm one of the people up here that voted to leave. I felt that Stoke was deprived, and it was just a message really that I was sending back to the government. And then I realised I was conned. People like Rees Mogg, that his father wrote a book, How to Make Money Out of a Recession, is terrifying. And these people are never going to get hurt by this. It's the young people, which I've got children here, that are the real losers in this. These are people of Stoke, I've lived there for even 15 years. These are decent people, and they've had it hard, but they are being betrayed by these people in Parliament that are going to break this area, and they will struggle.
So what do you think of all these bregretters? Are you shocked? Are you surprised? Were you expecting this? Do you think more will convert? And then, interestingly, do you know of anyone that's gone the other way? They voted Remain, but now they're adamant that they want to leave. I'd be really curious to know about that. As always, put your questions and thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, please click the subscribe button. Please click the like button, the notification button. Put some comments in, and I'll try and engage with as many of you as much as possible. I hope you enjoyed my political observations this week. If you'd like to support me, please share the video with others and post about it on social media. If you're keen for more, subscribe, comment, like, and hit that notification button. Thanks for listening, and see you next time on Political X.